Welcome back into LTL. I wanted to come back live this morning and give you some updates as if you were here last night watching my live stream. Last night, I'll just do a quick recap. We'll get into some witness statements. We have a shooter that's been in custody and arrested at this point. We also have one man that passed away, and we'll talk about that. And then I will play out how this kind of all unfolded last night. I want to thank everybody that came in last night, watched the live feed. We were trying to do second by second, minute by minute update and coverage. I feel like we really achieved that last night. And I want to thank everybody for sharing the stream. For anybody that lived in and around the Nashua, New Hampshire area of that country club, the Sky Meadow Country Club. So let's get into some recap here and find out what we know at this point. So last night at about 7:30 p.m., a gunman entered the Sky Meadow Country Club while a wedding reception was underway. There was first a lot of initial confusion. Wedding guests heard multiple shots, and the first mistook the sound for balloons popping or a dish-breaking tradition. They quickly realized it was an active shooter and began to flee and take cover. Some witness accounts said the guests described a chaotic scene. One witness, Tom Bartlinson, reported that the shooter had said, and quote, "The children are safe in free Palestine," before firing. There was one man that was killed at the scene, 59-year-old Robert Tisakari. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He actually went towards the shooter to protect his family and unfortunately was fatally shot. Law enforcement response, Nashua Police Department, and all emergency responders were dispatched to the scene. Initial reports said early reports indicated that there might have been two armed suspects. That information was later corrected after police reviewed surveillance footage, and it was corrected to one shooter at that point, and they had been detained at the scene. At around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Nashua Police announced on X that the threat was contained and there was no longer a danger to the public. So as far as injuries and casualties, like I said, there was one gentleman that was killed, 59-year-old Robert Tisakari. Two other adults suffered gunshot wounds but survived. Several other people sustained non-gunshot related injuries when fleeing. This morning, the suspect that has been identified as by the Attorney General's office, Hunter Nadeau. He's 23 years old, and he's been charged with second-degree murder for knowingly causing the death of 59-year-old Robert Tisakari. No known connection. Investigators state that there was no known connection between Nadeau and Tisakari, and obviously this is a very active ongoing investigation. Tomorrow, Hunter Nadeau is scheduled to be arraigned on the murder charges. So that is the latest update so far. Let's go into a little bit of the coverage as it unfolded last night. I'll play some videos here, and then we'll get an updated article. This was the scene last night as it unfolded. We're going to hear from a witness as well here, too.
The Sky Meadow Country Club is on Mountain Laurels Drive. Now, that's not very far from the Massachusetts border. And at one point tonight, police posted a shelter-in-place order for a neighborhood in Dunstable, Massachusetts, which is just across the state line. Good evening to you, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ken McLeod. Police are just about to give an update on the incident. That should happen sometime during this newscast. We're bringing you live team coverage on this active investigation tonight. Let's go ahead and begin with WBZ's Samantha Cheney. She just spoke to a guest at the wedding there, where they're stationed there at the fire station, I believe, on Spitbrook Parkway. Samantha, what do you got?
Yeah, Ken, we just spoke with a witness who told me she was a friend of the bride. She described this incident as surreal. She said it was like a moment out of a movie, something you never expect to actually have to live through. She says everyone was on the dance floor having a great time when all of a sudden she heard shots fired. She says she ran. She got under a table and hid under a tablecloth, just afraid of what was going to happen next. She says that another guest actually hit that suspect over the head. They saw everyone running, scattering, was just really unsure of what was actually happening. She was afraid for her life. Now, we have some things confirmed by police tonight. Initially, they were searching for 2 shooters, but I can tell you right now that's now been called off. Nashua police, they have confirmed on social media and an officer here on the scene saying that surveillance video actually showed just one shooter opening fire at an event, that wedding that we now know happened inside of the Sky Meadow Country Club tonight. And that person has now been detained. Now, I-team sources, they tell us that multiple people were shot. That woman that I spoke with, that witness, she says she saw 3 people injured. Somebody looked like they were receiving help as if they were hit by something in their lower back. She wasn't sure if that person was shot or not, but she did see those people there. Police tell us that at least one person is dead. That was a man. And I want to get to that witness that I spoke with tonight just to kind of explain that scary situation that was happening inside of the country club.
The police just running in with their guns, just running in and out, going through the back, the patio area by the golf, just searching around, trying to find somebody. And other cops just kind of escorting everybody into a locked room, like I said, where there's no windows around.
So you barricaded yourself
correct.
So you wouldn't get shot.
I first initially hid under the table with a tablecloth. So then the next thought is, okay, am I safe here? Am I a sitting duck? I mean, what's going to happen? Is this guy going to come through? Is he going to be looking under tablecloths? Is he going to be, just shooting everyone in the room? I mean, you don't know. It's very scary to experience something like that. From what I was talking with the gentleman in there who took a chair, hit him over the head. He dropped the gun. Wow. The man fled. He went through the reception area into the kitchen. He had blood on him. He made some comments.
What did he say?
He said, "At least the children are safe." Yeah. And then he escaped, and we don't know where he went at that point. But he said, someone said, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "F you, I'm the shooter."
And that's where one male was shot and killed. Several other people were told were wounded.
Now tonight we have seen multiple witnesses being brought out of the Spitbrook fire station here. There are still people inside of the garage. We saw a bus taking them over to the Sheridan Hotel just down the road, where we're told they will be reunited with their family. And as you mentioned, we're supposed to get official information, more information from police. There's going to be a presser with the Attorney General here at any moment. So as we get more updates, I'll be sure to let you know.
Okay. That was last night. Let's hear from a witness. Again, we're just doing a recap of how everything unfolded last night, and then we will read the most updated article here. This is another witness that was at that event.
It looked like a target that he was going right for this person. So I feel terrible for him. He just came out and said,
What he said.
Yeah, what he said was the children are safe and, free Palestine.
That was obviously a witness.
I'm going to be a little bit critical of the first witness. Everybody is so afraid to say things that happen at active situations. Just let the public know. We will decide. We will figure it out. And just like this gentleman here seemed like he was a little hesitant about the Free Palestine comment. Just say it like it is and let the public decide from there. Don't be afraid. People need to know what this information is and what people are saying. We want accurate news, especially in situations like this. And it's okay to say this of what happened. It's okay to go in and report and give the public and give the news stations this information. And then we're all sorted out. We'll all figure it out. But don't hide and pull back on things. People need to know what's going on. Put it out there. Let people know. And then we decide. We figure it out. And then we'll wait for more of the facts to come out. I'm sure there's going to be an extensive background check on this individual. All right, let's play this, and we'll play another witness statement here.
There at Sky Meadow Country Club as the shooter entered and began firing. The Attorney General's office is now investigating alongside Nashua police. A busy Saturday night at Sky Meadow. Over 100 people were there. Very chaotic scene as all of this unfolded. There was a wedding that was happening when shots were fired.
Okay, it was there. We'll go to another Let's see. Here's another witness. We'll play this.
We do know that there is a lot of people that live in this area. It's a highly residential area where this shooting happened. One of them is Nashua Alderman Melbourne Moran. He joins us live on the phone now. So Melbourne, you were put under a lockdown tonight. First of all, thank you for being with us. And we just want to make sure that you yourself are okay and that lockdown at this point has been lifted.
Yes, for sure we are safe. We want to, of course, wait for Nashua PD to make any official reports, but at this time we're hearing that the suspect is in custody and there's no active shooter on the loose.
In Melbourne, absolutely terrifying. We've had the chance to talk to a couple of people. One was a young man who was out golfing with some friends, and he heard about 6 or 7 gunshots from his position out on the patio. Another young woman was able to talk to her dad on the phone, where she is an employee at Sky Meadow. She was working, and she heard gunshots and then reported inside the kitchen. And she was among a dozen or so employees that were kept inside, as was the crowd who was at Sky Meadow for either an event of some sort or just going out to dinner tonight. So this has been intense for everybody in and around that area. I'm sure in talking with your neighbors, you've all had concerns for each other.
Yes, a very much similar experience. My wife and I were out on our back porch and heard the shots and came into our home and started hearing a very rapid police response from Nashua PD and the surrounding authorities, which was very encouraging to us. But we didn't need an official.
Say the response was very quick, and there were multiple. I mean, if you saw my coverage last night, there were multiple police agencies there. So I got to give a good hats off to all of the officers that responded quickly. They were there very fast. I mean, when I was just pulling up the coverage, police were already on scene, and it was probably, minutes after the situation was unfolding. So I have to give a hats off to all that law enforcement agencies that responded. A little bit of misinformation, very chaotic scene last night. As first, there was reported 2 shooters until it was confirmed via a surveillance camera video that there were actually just one, and then that one shooter was in custody. Cindy B, thank you so much for being a 25-month member. She said, good morning, happy to see you this morning, and hope that you're doing well. I got a little bit of that cold that's going around. I'm sure everybody's got it at this time of year. That's kind of beating me up, but we're getting through it. All right, let's go back to this witness here, and then we'll play a father that responded to the scene to find his daughter.
Report to know that there was something going on and we need to lock down. But it was very scary. Our kids, we kept here. We didn't want to frighten them any more than they needed to be, but our neighbors certainly did flee as soon as they heard the firings and the gunshots within not too long of a response.
And can you walk us through, the hours that followed and what you heard outside, what you saw from police, and just kind of the general feeling, what you could tell?
I heard sirens and responses coming from directions that I didn't know roads existed on. We had Dunstable, Drake at Kingsborough, so many surrounding towns from Massachusetts, Hudson, New Hampshire, respond and provide such a immediate mutual aid. A very impressive response.
All right. Thank you so much, Nashua Alderman Melbourne Moran, for being here with us. We are glad you are safe, and thank you for sharing your experience tonight.
All right, let's go to a father that was there. I believe that he was called by his daughter. Let's play this here.
Jen, that's right. I spoke with that father who told me his daughter sounded hysterical on the phone. She was confused. She didn't know what was going on. She grabbed a few other of her coworkers at the time near the Prime restaurant in the Sky Meadow Country Club, and they all went into hiding together. They went into lockdown after this deadly shooting happened. And he walked me through what she was hearing and seeing from her perspective. I just want to take a listen now.
Well, she works in the banquet section, which is right next door to Prime. And I guess I've never been in there, but she said there is a glass window that you can see right through. And she just happened to turn and look at the time where she saw somebody all in black just pull out a gun or a rifle and she started shooting. And she immediately dropped the phone and just ran outside.
It was a handgun that was reported. It was not a rifle. And again, it's a very chaotic situation. It's a very chaotic scene. People see and hear things differently. We get it. But yeah, they did identify that it was a handgun that was used, and I'll read an article here that has the most updated information, but let's go back here.
She actually ran into the kitchen, said there was a shooting, and they just ran outside. This is crazy. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember anything like this, and we just got in before everything was shut down. So they let me in. I told my daughter's in there, and they just told me to pull off the side or come down the side road.
And police seem pretty serious.
Yeah, they said if you go any further, you could get shot.
And just from that interaction that father describes he had with police, you can tell how intense the situation here was. Right now,
Okay, let's go to the press conference by DA Hinckley. We didn't get much. We didn't hear much. I would have liked maybe a little bit of a later press conference when we had more information, but I can totally understand it was still a very active situation. But this was the press conference from last night, and then we'll wrap up with the most latest in this investigation. Again, I wanted to come on and just do a recap from last night. I said I would once I found out some more information in this tragic shooting last night in Nashua, New Hampshire at the Sky Meadow Country Club. Here we go.
So my name is Peter Hinckley. I'm a prosecutor with the Attorney General's office, and the Attorney General's office is helping the Nashua Police Department in this investigation. We don't have a prepared statements, but we'll certainly take any questions, knowing that this is an active and ongoing investigation at this point, so the amount of information we can share is fairly limited.
Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, at this point, again, it is an active and ongoing investigation. We issued a news release in which an adult male entered the golf course area, and there was a shooting. An adult male died. Additional people were injured, and it's currently being investigated at this point.
Is this some sort of a hate crime, or what do you believe happened?
So there's a lot of details that we need to figure out, and we need to know that information before we can share it, and that's one of the details that we're trying to learn.
We heard that he yelled out, "The kids are okay," and "Free Palestine." So what is that?
Yeah, well, we're dealing with the facts and the information that we gather, and once we get that facts and information and have an actual motive that we can share, we'll certainly do that. But right now we get to deal with the facts and the information. For example, there was some information that there were two shooters. That turned out to be erroneous. We can definitively say that there is only one shooter.
Was this a targeted shooting?
Again, that's facts and information that we're trying to develop right now.
How many victims?
One adult male is deceased. There are multiple shooting victims. Again, we're trying to iron out that particular detail. Some of the shooting victims went to local fire departments, so that's why we're not sure of that detail just yet. How many people were injured in addition to the deceased male?
Is it okay to think that those victims are okay if they're at the fire department rather than the hospital?
It's too early to say at this point what exactly the condition of the non-deceased people are.
Why were they not taken to a hospital?
Again, some people went by themselves to local fire departments.
Can you tell us if the shooting was at the wedding or the restaurant?
Yeah, again, that information is still being developed, and as soon as we can share that without interfering with the integrity of the investigation, we certainly will do that. I think there was.
Are they all gunshot wounds, or are they experiencing other types of injuries?
There were some gunshot wounds. There may be some non-gunshot wounds. Again, that's one of the details that we're still trying to figure out as part of the investigation that Nashua is actively pursuing.
Where was the suspect arrested, and how long after the shooting was he laying in wait? Had he taken off from the scene?
Yeah, so no suspect has been arrested. A person of interest has been detained pending warrants at this point in time, but there has been no arrests. But we have identified all the people involved in the situation, and there is no threat to the general public at this point in time.
I guess, and so is the person of interest, where were they located in relation to?
Again, that's information that we're developing, and we can share that. When we can share that, we certainly will.
Dawn's asking, did they say what the motive was? They said that there's no connection between the shooter and the victim. So, it just remains to be seen. I have a little bit more information here to share after this presser This was pressers from last night, very early on in the investigation. They didn't have much to go on, but they just wanted to update the public. All right, here we go. Let's play more of it.
Do we know the type of weapon that the suspect or person of interest had?
No, other than a firearm, no. And we also don't know if there are additional weapons involved.
Do we know if the suspected shooter was connected to the wedding or the restaurant in any way?
Yeah, again, that's one of the things that we're certainly trying to find out and trying to develop. And once we can share that, we certainly will.
Chief, I guess when you have a weapon involved, can you just talk about this was a public event? There was a wedding going on, people enjoying a night in Nashua. Can you just step to the microphone and just talk about, all this happening and night people are supposed to feel safe and have an enjoyable night?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate circumstance.
So I think one additional thing that we needed to know is that any family members are looking for family members. I think the point of meeting place is here at the Sheraton in Nashua. So if anybody is looking for any family members who might have been at any of the events at the golf course, come here and they can be assisted.
Do you know how many people were at the wedding?
Don't.
A witness said that people there at the venue tackled the shooter and took the gun away from him. Can you confirm that, or can you talk about that if you have any info?
I can't talk about that now. Again, it's still active and ongoing. The Nashua Police are doing a great job gathering evidence, finding witnesses, talking to witnesses. But this incident is only a few hours old. There are multiple witnesses that need to be talked to, multiple videos that need to be obtained and then looked at. So once we get a fuller understanding of what happened, including possible motive, we certainly will share that when we can do so. But again, I think it's too early to talk about what some people might have thought happened and focus on facts and evidence, which we're still gathering.
Video of this incident, and how helpful was the surveillance video in determining that there weren't two shooters?
So in many cases, there's videos, and I think this case would be no different. As to the extent of video, again, that's something that's still being developed in terms of not only video from the scene, but video from surrounding areas that could shed light on how people got there and other type of information.
Is the vehicle at the fire department that has yellow tape around it, is that connected to the suspect? Is that where he left the vehicle and went into the venue?
Yeah, frankly, I don't know that information, so I can't provide any insight on that. Anything else?
It's a careful situation for many people out there this evening with the lockdown that was in place. Just any words to kind of quell some of those fears, maybe from people out there who are worried or concerned?
Well, so I work with homicides, and every homicide is a concerning situation. But at this point in time, Nashua has done a great job at identifying all the relevant parties and making sure that at this point in time, there's no further threat to the public. So that's what we stated in the press release, and we feel confident repeating right now. Again, there was an erroneous statement. There were two shooters. It's believed there's only one shooter, and we have a person of interest who has been detained, and there's no threat to the general public. So we stated those with assurance in the news release, and we can repeat those today and right now.
The mayor, Mayor, just, you've been a fixture in this community for decades, and just your reaction tonight to what's transpired and gone on, and your feelings about everything.
Well, for any community like ours, this is a big tragedy that there would be such an incident. We are lucky that we have the Nashua Police Department, and I'm confident that they will get to the bottom of this and will bring the appropriate people to justice.
These people don't think things like this happen on a Saturday night in a public area in Nashua, New Hampshire.
That's right. I mean, I've heard from other mayors in other places. Of course, it happens in Dayton and all these other places. But and it always crossed my mind, well, it's unlikely ever to happen in Nashua, but now it has. And I think the message is for every community out there that no matter how unlikely it seems, it can happen. It can happen where you live.
And even just though there was loss of life of one person, you had a wedding going on next year, all the people in there, this could have been you know, in this day and age of mass shootings, this could have been markedly different.
And I don't know the extent of the number of people who were injured or shot, so I can't really. I mean, one person is too much, and it sounds like there were more. So hopefully, it's as few as possible.
It's a difficult situation for so many. How are you feeling this evening?
Sad, you know, and thinking about the families that were affected, and it's just for us sad that it happened in our community.
Chief, can you just talk about the swift action of your department? I know you train on these sorts of incidents, but can you step to the microphone and just explain how quickly your officers were able to diffuse the rumors, find the person of interest, and calm things down?
Sure, they worked together. We trained together. It was a quick response. One going into a dangerous situation like that, but we trained that way. The teamwork, the officers, what they did was remarkable.
Are there any federal agencies involved in this, or is it all?
Yes, we had to call in, obviously, an event like that was reported. We called in mutual aid from several towns and some federal agencies.
Was the initial call for an active shooter? What type of call do you get when you have something that's happening in such a public place?
To be honest with you, I don't know exactly how it came in. Shots fired, active. I don't know.
Chief, were officers already at the scene, present?
Again, I don't know that. I got here as quick as I can, and the information obviously is pretty coming from different angles and stuff like that. And you're trying to weed out what's real, like the Attorney General said. So,
Can you talk about the cooperation, interstate cooperation from New Hampshire, Massachusetts, because your community is on both sides. Some people shelter in place. Can you talk about how you're able to work together?
yes, we have great partnerships with Massachusetts is a stone throw away. You know, I'm getting calls from the chiefs and other departments that want to come and assist. So, you know, we talk about brotherhood, and they're there when it really gets tough. So we had multiple agencies coming and responding right away. Phone call away to Colonel of State Police, Sheriff Newcomb, and they were here pretty quickly.
Chief, there are several people we talked to that left their belongings there, their cars there, and walked down and ultimately came here. Give them an idea of when they might be able to retrieve their things.
Yeah, it's still active. We're still up there working. I can't give a time limit on that. I'd like to. I know everybody would like to get their property or their cars back, but it also is an active investigation. So we're not going to disturb the crime scene.
Again, this still is an active and ongoing investigation. We expect there'll be further developments, but in terms of further news releases, I expect that those will be once the deceased person's family has been notified and an autopsy has been conducted. We typically put out a news release. That'll probably be tomorrow. And if and when there's an arrest, there'll also be a news release on that. To emphasize again, that person of interest has been detained. There has been no arrests at this point in time. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I just want to do a correction here. I said DA. That's the Assistant Attorney General, Peter Hinckley. I said DA. Assistant Attorney, Senior Assistant Attorney General, Peter Hinckley. That's his official title. All right. What do we have here? I have a photo of, I have the mugshot of the suspect, and this was shared by Stephen Cooper of 7 News. It says, Country Club killer investigators just releasing the mugshot of 23-year-old Hunter Nadeau, who is charged with last night's shooting at Sky Meadow Country Club that claimed the life of Robert DeSicari. I think that's how you say his last name. I apologize if I have that wrong. Eyewitness tells 7 News suspect first shot another man in the face. So that is his mugshot. All right, let's go to the latest report with all the updated information that I can find at this point. I'm just going to read it. And then we'll play a quick video. So let's see. A man is arrested and charged in New Hampshire with country club shooting. This was at about 7:05 this morning. A gunman opened fire in a New Hampshire country club on Saturday as a wedding was taking place, killing one person and wounding two others, authorities said. The person who died at the Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua, New Hampshire, was 59-year-old man identified as Robert Stephen DeSacari. According to New Hampshire Attorney General John Familia, the Nashua Police Chief Kevin Rourke, authorities identified the suspect as Hunter Nadeau, 23 years old, and said he had been arrested and charged with one count of second-degree murder for knowingly shooting DeSacari. Quote, additional charges likely will be brought, including for the additional shooting victim. Familia and Rourke said in a statement, they said that they expect Nadeau to be arraigned in the 9th Circuit Court in Nashua on Monday. Authorities had initially thought there could be two shooters, but later said that was a mistake and there was only one. Police said there was no further danger to the public. Investigators still working to determine a motive. New Hampshire Senior Assistant Attorney General Peter Hinckley said the information on the wounded victim conditions are not immediately available. Tom Bartlinson of Pepperell, Massachusetts, who was at the country club, described a chaotic scene that unfolded near his nephew's wedding. He said he heard the shooter say, quote, the children are safe, and quote, free Palestine, and appeared to be targeting someone, quote, getting together for a dance for the bride and groom, and all the chaos went off. He said, we heard about 6 shots and everybody ducked for cover, and the next thing you know, we're rushed into safe spots, like in things like that. He said that some people dropped to the ground to attempt to get away from the scene. There was a lot of panic, he said. The mother of DeSacari, the man who was killed, had earlier described not being able to find her son after he was shot. Quote, he said, he went down. My daughter-in-law and granddaughter escaped. They saw my son go down, and then they saw blood. The mother of Evie O'Rourke of Salem, New Hampshire, said. Emily Ernest, who was at the scene, said that the gunman was in all black. He had a mask on. We just saw him raise the gun, and then we ran. I ran through the kitchen for my life. Aerial video from WMR TV showed multiple emergency responders heading to the scene. Later, Nashua Mayor Jim, I think it's Donchis, said that they had faith in the police to get to the bottom of this and bring the perpetrator to justice. He added, I think the message for everyone in the community out there is no matter how unlikely it seems, it can happen where you live. And I think that's a very important statement. And this is what I tell people all the time. When you go somewhere, even if you're familiar or not familiar with where you are going, make sure you know at all times who's around you. When I go out, I'm always actively looking around me, knowing where exit points are, knowing where points that I could protect myself, noticing who's around me. You've got to be more alert in your environment. I think people tend to this is why we say, when I go out walking around or maybe I'm shopping, I always see everybody, especially, and I don't want to pick on the kids because I'm older, but everybody has headphones in all the time. You're not being able to actively use your ears. Your ears and eyes work very well together. Your ears are going to alert you like that. If something is going on behind your back, you may not see it, but you're going to audibly hear it. That's what I always say. Don't walk around with headphones in. If you're in a crowded area, make sure those are out so you can hear what's going on in your environment. And that when you hear that cue from your ears, you're going to turn and have that reaction, and the eyes can see to protect yourself. So, that's kind of my rant on those situations. I've been through a lot of active shooter situations with the career that I've chosen. So I know a lot about it, and I do a lot of the training, on a yearly basis. It's just my companies do these active shooter trainings. I'm not in law enforcement or anything like that, but just given my profession, we have to take these yearly active shooter training courses. So it says U.S. Representative Maggie Goulander said that the statement that she was there closely monitoring the tragic reports in the shooting tonight at Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua, that her heart was with the victims and the families in that community. Nashua is about 45 minutes northwest of Boston, just across the Massachusetts border. All right, let's play a quick video update here, and then I'm going to head out for today. I appreciate everybody being here this morning. If you haven't, make sure to smash the like button. You know, I think this is, it's, you know, it's just awful, tragic situations that were going on in society now. And, you know, a lot of these situations, it's a lot to do with mental health illness. And I don't want to, you know, predetermine anything here. I'm sure they'll get to the bottom of the investigation and find out what the motive was. But at this time, this is what it seems to be. And thankfully, they got this person in custody, that they could not, you know, go out and hurt more people. It's unfortunate that someone was killed and there were multiple people that were wounded. And that's really all I have to say. Lisa says, always look for exits and make sure that there are no boxes in front of them. Count the seats to the exits on airlines, not paranoid, just prepared. Absolutely. Always need to be prepared. Kat says people are always on their phones, not aware of their surroundings. Of course. Okay, let's play this quick video and then we're going to wrap up this morning. I appreciate everybody jumping back in for this recap coverage. If you were on my stream last night, I appreciate that you come over in the moment and we had those live updates. Right, here's this one quick
thing. This morning, one person is dead, 2 others hurt after a shooting at a country club in Nashua, New Hampshire.
A suspect is now under arrest after he allegedly fired several shots at the club where a wedding reception was being held at the time. WBZ's Logan Hall is live in Nashua this morning. And Logan, you were there a short time after that shooting last night.
Yeah, Anna and Tammy, that's right. Good morning. And we are continuing to learn more about this shooting. The New Hampshire Attorney General's office just told us that they've released the name of the man they believed is responsible for this shooting. That is 23-year-old Hunter Nadeau. This is the man that they believe stormed into the Sky Meadow Country Club here in Nashua, New Hampshire, opening fire on guests, killing one man, a 59-year-old, and injuring several others. The man who was shot and killed is 59-year-old Robert Stephen DeCesar. In a press conference late last night, the New Hampshire Attorney General's office told us...
Correction on the last name, DeCesar. Okay, here we go.
That this investigation is still in its very early stages as they are working to piece together exactly what happened.
We're dealing with the facts and the information that we gather, and once we get that facts and information and have an actual motive that we can share, we'll certainly do that. But right now we get to deal with the facts and the information. For example, there was some information that there were 2 shooters. That turned out to be erroneous. We can definitively say that there is only 1 shooter.
So again, no motive has been released yet, but authorities do tell us that there is no connection between the shooter and any of those victims at this time. Now, I was here last night talking to people who escaped this shooting, and they tell me that it was absolute chaos when gunshots were heard. Several people sheltered in place here at the country club. Others ran for their lives. One guest tells us that it was actually a guest from that wedding who hit the shooter over the head with a chair, subduing him. And we'll continue to keep you posted on the very latest information as it continues to come out.
All right. And that is it. That is the most updated information that I have at this time. Let me just do a quick and see before we go if there's anything. Nothing as of now. Reports are like 5 or 8 hours ago. So nothing new at this time. If I hear anything, if we get an actual motive behind this, we'll discuss it and make sure that we cover it here. Again, last night, I want to appreciate everybody that was live with me last night on those streams across Facebook and YouTube. And I hope that brought you some valuable updates, especially to the people that were in the area. I know there was a lot of people in my chat and on X watching that were in the Nashua, New Hampshire area. So thank you. I appreciate you all. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. We'll have some live shows up this week. And if you haven't, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. If anything breaks in the story or we get any type of motive, of course, I'll try to update everybody as fast and as much as I can. Stay safe, everybody, please, out there. It is the times right now. It's crazy. So that's going to be it. Everybody have a great Sunday. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk soon. Goodbye.